to another episode of the Cryptid News Research Program here that I'm sharing information with you and discussing various topics. There is one particular topic that has come to mind due to a recent live podcast show that's going on right now as I'm speaking. And the topic or the discussion at hand is, could different Sasquatches be related, possibly from other states? Like from Virginia to North Carolina to could those squatches be related to these squatches here in Virginia? That's a very good question. Alright? Due to some believe in migration, which is very possible. But I want to take a step back. Before we even consider that question, you need to consider, how did they get here in the first place? Could we consider the theory that some scientists have? Some that say, well, did they get here through the barren land bridge? That's a theory. That's a possibility. Okay? My question is, were they already here, established, along here with the Native Americans? Because Native Americans acknowledge them in their history. They've been documented alongside with the other known wildlife. Okay? If they came here, let's just consider this. If they came here through the barren land bridge, up in Alaska and down through Canada, and through the years they had to come down through here, and spread out. And the United States alone is so vast, thousands and thousands of miles. I mean, from north to south, east to west. You got Canada alone is so huge. I mean, for them to make it out here, especially here on the East Coast, alright, they would have had to have a large population, a large breeding population, and just diverse and spread out. I mean, because it makes almost no sense for them to be so largely clustered in one area and remain hidden. They are very elusive. So these are thoughts, these are considerations that we have to consider. Alright? It is established, for those who know and believe, and this ain't acknowledged through science, but it's safe to say that we know that they are here on the East Coast. But I'm going to use Virginia, the state that I live in, for an example. Alright? It is very possible that they spread out and, through a period of time. Okay? There is a possibility somewhere years down the road there is a relation, just kind of like our families throughout the United States. My family is from up north. If we pinpoint our original ancestors, my father's side of the family, they're all from Canada. Okay? My father's mother's side of the family, they're from Italy. Alright? My mother's side of the family, you got Ireland and Scotland and so forth. So, but as far as here in the United States, I'm originally from Massachusetts. I was born in Massachusetts, came to the state of Virginia at age 11. Alright? I got just a couple family members down here. I got cousins down here, stationed in the military. Cousins that are married to, FBI agents here in Northern Virginia. I got, and most of my family's up north. I got family down in Florida. But what makes it easier for us, we have technology. Okay, that's something you got to consider. We are easily spread and travel because we have technology. We have automobiles. Okay, how easy is it for something like a Sasquatch that's only on foot, to travel all the thousands and thousands of miles? Not saying it's not possible, but I think it's a slim possibility that they travel too far. I think they have a chance. You have a group that might start off in, say, right here in my town. I'm just using this as an illustration. Try to follow me on this, okay? Say there's a group that starts off here, and they populated, and they grew, okay? I think through a period of time, they might spread out. Say they run into another, these two or three run into another little group. They start multiplying, okay? They start spreading out. Another group goes down, it branches off. It's like a branch. kind of like a family tree. It branches off. Like me, I came down here to Virginia. Okay, got married, had children. All right. Now, eventually, when my children grow up and get old enough, they'll have their own families. Okay, and when they multiply, they may not stay here. They may move to another town, or they might move out of state and then populate that way. Okay, this is how you got to consider the possibility of family bloodlines, being related. It's like humans. We travel. Families start, they multiply and grow and spread out. And so, yeah, I believe it's very possible. But I think most families and stuff, because, through observations, and I don't think they travel thousands of miles, I think there's families that become families that, through spread out population, they might have a bloodline. They might not be a direct bloodline. All right. So, interbreeding, that's possible. I believe that's something that takes place in a lot of animals. A lot of our known species, I believe that's very possible. This is something I wanted to consider, think about and kind of throw that little idea out. You can follow the rest of the discussion that's being live. It's on Freddy YouTube channel, Freddy59100. It's actually right now as I'm speaking and doing this little video documentary. I believe it's very possibly that what I just explained makes a lot of sense, and that's my thoughts on a Sasquatch population as far as being related in other states. Yes, I think it's possible, but it's less likely to be direct bloodline. I think through a period of time they may spread out. I think the populations stay more, as far as family groups, I believe they stay more closer together, and they slowly spread out. It's not like a human being where we spread out more, in a more separated state of range. Because we got to consider the possibility of their population for one thing. Are they that really populated? Do we have that many? You would have to consider, well, okay, there's got to be as much Sasquatches as there are humans to be that widely spread out, which I think that's very unlikely. I think there is small groups and stuff that inhabit these various areas. So yeah, it's like you go to your average mall, you go to the average park where these parks and these locations are populated with people. Look how much forest we have. If they were that populated, wouldn't it be more sightings, more obvious encounters? Think about it. To me, that makes more sense what I'm trying to explain to you than to think that, to consider even that they're, clustered up so heavily and spread out through bloodlines, spreading out thousands and hundreds of miles to 1,000 miles. I mean, just think about what I'm saying. I think we need to consider more focused on various locations instead of worrying about are they all related. Let's find out if they're, let's try to discover them, and let's get them acknowledged first before we even consider other possibilities related to them. And I think we're jumping the gun on a lot of questions here. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it, no. But to be logical, we need to consider who they are, what they are, okay? And the number one thing is discovery, acknowledgement of discovery and who they are, okay? Till then we can start spreading out other questions and theories. Well, there's enough theories floating around. You need to take a step back into number one. You need to start from square one. You can find all the signs and evidence you want, okay? And assume that's how populated it is in there. Till we start acknowledging and seeing and observing more heavily population, then we can consider these other questions. Are they all related? Okay? Yes or no? I mean, it can be, it cannot be. So, but back to even before I even started this little discussion. Question is, how did they get here, or were they already here? My belief, my opinion, this is my opinion, I believe they were already existing here, Okay? Well, for example, they may have traveled here or came here through another way of, migration or whatever the possibilities of the land bridge or whatever. We know our Native Americans, if you research that, some of our Native Americans come from Europe. They're Europe-Asians. Some Native Americans were acknowledged to already be here. Some came later on. So, just like Sasquatch, I believe that's why I believe that they were already here. I think it's safe and simple to understand. Just consider my words. I want to hear from you. I want to start hearing from you, okay? What I'm going to try to do is start discussing, start opening up topics and posting topics. I want to get different people's opinions. I prefer that you send me your videos. Doing small video clippings of your opinion and your thoughts and theories on my topics. And then I want to share them and sponsor them in my live podcast. So please, email me. And we'll get into this a little later on. We'll pick back up on this discussion. I think it's a good thing. I want to hear from you. We got a few people I'm waiting to hear back from, and we'll hear from them at a later date. But meanwhile, just think about what I said. Okay? God bless.